We move on to question 4. I call on the Honourable Member for Douglas Central, Mr Thomas.
Thank you, Mr President. I beg leave to ask the Minister for the Treasury how much was drawn down from the bond issued in September 2021, and also what use has been made of these funds.
Treasury Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr President. The bond was fully drawn down on the issue in September. Cash proceeds received totalled £393,380,000 after deduction of bookmakers' fees and accounting for the discount when converting actual bond yield to coupon rate. The Treasury received just under £3.8 million, which I alluded to in my last answer, as a result of hedging the interest rate movements, more than offsetting the issue costs of the debt. The proceeds of the bond will be spent in accordance with the approvals given by this Honourable Court last year, and also in accordance with the Sustainable Financing Framework recently issued by the Treasury. Work is underway to refinance the internal debts owed by the Steam Packet Company and Manx Utilities Authority, both of which will be completed by this year end. In addition, loan funding will be provided to the Steam Packet Company to purchase its new vessel Manxman. Thank you, Mr President.
Supplementary, Mr Thomas.
Thank you, Mr President. Will the Minister join with me in congratulating the Treasury Minister, the one before the last, Mr Tier, who stated in his February 2016 budget speech that he would be bringing forward a proposal to Tynwald to issue a bond to assist with some specific funding for key infrastructure assets. And then he was very specific. The first area for which it is proposed that bond finance will be used is the local housing market. The 3 areas under consideration are a house purchase scheme to assist buyers who are outside of the existing first-time buyer scheme, funding for mid-rent property purchase to ensure that there are enough properties for a growing workforce, and an equity release scheme for those who are asset rich but cash poor to fund, for example, conservation or energy efficiency work to property. Having congratulated the Treasury Minister, will the Treasury Minister agree to engage in making sure that some of that bond money that's now available 6-7 years on is actually available to make sure that we do what's right in the light of the housing crisis, or at least the perceived housing crisis?
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr President. I recognise, obviously, the Honourable Member for Douglas Central's passion in this area, particularly taking on the role as Chairman of the Housing Board. Obviously, we will be looking at how the money can be used within the sustainability financing framework that has been announced by Treasury. The bond was very specific in terms of what it would be used for when we went out to the market, and we need to ensure that we comply with that. My understanding is there isn't anything that would restrict us from using it on housing, should we so desire. I'm not going to preempt, obviously, anything that I may be saying in this Honourable Court next month in relation to the budget, so I won't be preempting anything there. But what I would say to the Honourable Member is I congratulate the previous Treasury team in the previous administration who came forward with this bond issue, which appears to have been timed absolutely perfectly in terms of the markets, and for the fact that it has given us an opportunity to not just refinance existing debt, but also look at what we can invest in going forward. I was in the public gallery for the 2016 budget when Minister Tier, as it was then, actually made his comments, and I know the Honourable Member welcomed those comments at the time. But as I say, with the bond that we have now in place, we will be looking at how we can use it in line with the Sustainable Finance Framework.
Supplementary, Lauder.
The Treasury Minister referred to the Sustainable Financing Framework, which was issued by Treasury. As it stands, Tynwald has never approved what the proceeds will be used for. It was the global total was agreed by Total, but never what it was agreed for. Will the Treasury Minister commit to bringing the Sustainable Financing Framework to Tynwald for approval as to what we're actually going to use the money for before it's spent?
Minister to reply.
When the monies are when it's decided what the monies will need to be spent on, then obviously it's appropriate Tynwald approvals will be sought.
Supplementary, Mr Thomas.
Thank you, Mr President. Yeah, and it was excellent that that the 2021 bond was approved in that way. Incidentally, the 2016 bond was only actually not approved by a Liberal Vannin party, and the current Chief Minister, who was then just a backbencher like myself, but hey-ho, it's what happens in the end that matters. Will Will the Minister confirm that in the press release in September about the launch of the bond, that the Chief Financial Officer in his quote actually said that the sustainable financing framework includes clean transportation, energy efficiency, affordable housing and a couple of other projects? So does that not mean that the Treasury has already decided and agreed with the people who've invested in the bond that those are the projects that are going to be funded? And secondly, building on the excellent supplementary from Mr Speaker, can the Treasury Minister confirm, differently from in the debate when this was approved, that Tynwald will have the decision about what these funds are used for, not just Treasury?
Yeah.
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr President. As I've said, any appropriate Tynwald approvals will be sought, and it is important we engage with all honourable members in terms of what the money is spent upon. In relation to the comments from the Chief Financial Officer at the time, it was an indication of what the monies may be spent upon. There has been no decision as yet as to what those funds will definitely be spent upon, but it could include, as the honourable member has said, green transport, affordable housing. All of those were listed at the time. And due consideration will be given to all of those.